Hello, it's Sarah here. William sent some questions through his mum Jess. And William, hello, I'm going to have a go at answering some of them because they're brilliant. Here's the first one. If God made the world, why did he make things like coronavirus and wasps and thorns on plants? I think we'd all like to know the answer to that. Here's the way I think about it. At the beginning of the Bible, you can read about how God made the world, and it says he made it really, really good. He made birds and animals and plants, and he gave them to us to eat, and he just made it all really good. And he put a man and woman in a garden to enjoy those things. But he also made men and women to be able to choose. He made them free to make choices. And that's a fantastic thing. It means we can choose to love God and to follow him if we want to. But the bad side about being able to make our own choices is that we don't always make good ones. If somebody gives me a packet of crisps or a packet of biscuits, I'm quite likely to eat them all, and that's a really bad choice. And because men and women tend to make bad choices sometimes, it meant that bad things could come into the world. It meant that evil and sickness came into the world. And the really good news is that God has a plan to sort it all out. He sent Jesus, and when Jesus died on the cross, sadness and bad things all died with him. And Jesus will come back one day and he'll make the world perfect again. But in the meantime, we're stuck with sad and bad things. We know that Jesus has sorted it out, but we just don't know that perfectly yet. And so we have things like coronavirus, and it makes people really sad, doesn't it? But one of the amazing things is that God brings good out of every situation. We've seen that a little bit with the coronavirus thing because people are really kind to each other in ways they haven't been. The planet is getting greener. We're not all using our cars all the time. And actually, with wasps, they're really helpful because they can tidy up dead animals around the place, like dead ants, for example, or dead caterpillars. And also, thorns can protect roses from being crushed. So they're not all bad. The next questions you've asked are amazing. Who was God's mummy? And if God made the world, where did God come from? How did God make the world? Well, those are very big questions. The only way that I can imagine this is to think that God just is. There's no one before God, there's no one after God. He just is. He doesn't need a mum or a dad because he just is God. God encompasses man and woman, so it doesn't matter if we call him mum or dad, but he is the most perfect parent, and he made your mum and dad and gave them to you, and he made you as well really, really special. But God just is. And it helps me to think that he doesn't stick to time like we do. So we kind of get up in the morning, have a bit of breakfast, go and do some school or whatever, have some lunch, play a bit, maybe have some food in the evening, go to bed, get up again in the morning. And that's kind of like time, isn't it? Going on in a straight line. But God isn't in time. He's not like that. He's outside it and he sits all above it. So he doesn't really, he's still with us when we get up in the morning and when we go to bed at night. But for him, it doesn't make any difference if it's morning or evening. So to think about whether he made the world or when he started it doesn't really make sense for God because he just is. Sometimes, to help me think about how big God is, I go and lie outside on the grass and look up at the stars on a starry night. And the universe is amazingly huge and beautiful. But God is even bigger. He just is. He's behind all that. And he just is. And he always was. And he always will be. What a brilliant thing that is. So the next question you asked was, were the dinosaurs before God? And who made them then? Well, God made the dinosaurs, and he was before them, and he's there after them. God's amazing, and the biggest thing about God is his love and how much he loves you and thinks you're incredible too, and me. So I hope that helps a little bit. I know it doesn't answer all the questions, but hey, bye for now.